mind. Why this, what that, what should we do? Because it's at the circle, you diving into the secret. Go far from I ain't naked, you make me get the tweak. So you don't be get the preaching, you don't be telling me that my fate is in the stars and be my energy. You got the recipe, to get the ecstasy. I'm shifting gears on the thing that you wouldn't believe. Some people don't see, it's all the seed. It's on the start, that's why you trap yourself, you telling me. You best be on your knees, and face yourself to move. You don't have no brother, have the patience, just to know the truth. You can't be slanted, you think it should be glad. It's warfare, the bomb explodes, the letter damn it. I managed to maintain to explain. We here to evolve, but the damn thing changed. I'm constantly reading, man.
What's up? What's going on with you today? All right, how you doing today? Hopefully all is well. Yeah. What's for lunch? What's for lunch? What's going on, Doug? 2 people at lunch. You at lunch too, Doug? You at lunch? Man, I can't see this shit. Cheese, lasagna. Cheese, lasagna, and meatball. So, Saturn's at 29 degrees Pisces, and my sun is at 29 degrees. And I just got off the phone with the boss and all that shit. And you know what? Kind of bop. When somebody says something, they say, "Do you understand?" Keep saying it. Not you. You don't. No, they say you don't understand. They'll begin to come. You don't understand. It's boom, 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 boom. You don't understand. I had to say, man, actually, I do understand. Now you actually catching up. Now you understand what the hell I was talking about in the office. And now the only thing you doing retrograde, reminding me, reminisce, review. You bringing me back there. You don't understand. You don't understand. You sure I don't understand? Or you're not aware or whatever that, all the stuff you're talking about I already, you know what I'm saying, did years ago. All that stuff. All the sports stuff out there all day. I was trying to tell you, but you ain't understand. But now you do now. Now you understand the frustration. Now you understand. Now, not ask me, do I understand? Now you understand. Or, you know how the youth like to say now, the inner stand, overstand, all that shit. So how y'all doing today? I don't know if y'all have any of y'all caught did y'all catch the horoscope video? I see you got 6 people up in here. Anybody got any astrology questions? Anybody got any astrology questions they would like to ask? I don't know if y'all caught today's energy. Moon's in Aquarius. Moon is in Aquarius, conjunct the moon, conjunct Pluto. I already told y'all about Jupiter in the North Node. That stuff is going on. The Jupiter North Node stuff is going on pretty much all week, like the backdrop of all week. And then we got Mars. We got Mars in detriment in Libra squaring that Jupiter. They both at 18 degrees. Cardinal signs. So we got Jupiter's square uncomfortable Mars in the sign of relationships. And then I said the moon is conjunct Pluto. It's actually right now it's 2 degrees, so it's actually starting to separate. But the moon casts a wide orb, and that Jupiter and that moon Pluto conjunction is sextile Neptune, and it is trying to Uranus. All of that's going down at 1 degree. 1 degree, right? 1 degree Aries is in the bounds of Jupiter. 1 degree Gemini is in the bounds of Mercury. One degree Aquarius is in the bound of Mercury. So the moon and Pluto are in the bounds of Mercury, and Uranus is in the bound of Mercury. And Mercury is about the mind and thoughts and communication and stuff like that. And so Pluto is about transformation, deep transformation, the unseen, the hidden and stuff like that. And Uranus is about innovating, freedom and liberation. And Mercury is at its home in Virgo, in its own bounds right now. So Mercury is really, really strong. And so that could be breakthrough moments, breakthrough thoughts, fog clearing up, clear vision. Y'all with me? Y'all still with me? We got with Neptune, and like I said, Neptune is in Aries, and and it's in the bounds of Jupiter, and Jupiter is aspect in the North Node. And you know what? 18 degrees Cancer. 18 degrees Cancer is in the bounds of Mercury. And Mars is at 18 degrees. So that's the bounds of Jupiter. So it kind of got a Jupiter, Mercury. And now that I'm thinking about it, Jupiter and Mercury are kind of avid. They're like adversaries. Yeah. Oh, okay. But yes, it's expanding the mind, right? But think about it. If you got one entity that's about expansion and making things bigger, but you got another entity within Mercury, which is about details, the details. Can you see how Jupiter and Mercury are adversaries? Sometimes expansion and details don't go together. which, which, mm, which Uranus in the bounds of Mercury, Pluto and the moon in the bounds of Mercury, right? Which might take some transformation or dying off. Pluto, moon, of emotional connection to the way you think, which actually has something to do with your perspective on the world. Mm. Expansion. How about this one, mental? Expansion through the details. by by um by going through the details that actually leads to expansion. But you can't expand without knowing the details. And yeah. Hmm. Wouldn't that be kind of like, you know, studying your craft? You Why do you study your craft? Because you're trying to expand, but to expand, you got to know the details of the craft. You got to know, if this break down, what different parts to go to and all that. That will be part of the detail. But if you don't know all of that stuff, if you don't know all of this stuff, how the hell are you gonna call yourself a mechanic? And you don't know what a drive shaft is. You can't change the brakes, but you're gonna call yourself a mechanic. Oh, you skipped class that day. Yeah, so expansion. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, what did I say? I said the horoscope today. I said Jupiter. Well, the exalted Jupiter. Well, I ain't even talk about the condition. But just now, ex- mm, you know what? Who has the upper hand? Jupiter has the upper. So Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, and Mars is in detriment in Libra. So, but the nuance to this is we got Jupiter in Cancer exalted. We got an exalted planet having the upper hand on this Mars. So not so this detrimental Mars. So if it was reversed, if if a detrimental Mars had the upper hand on exalted Jupiter, the delineation would be different. But but with the exalted planet having the upper hand on the planet in detriment, right? That also switches the delineation as well. So how could that? So that could be. And so you got Mars and Libra. Libra's about relationships, unbalanced relationships, and that could be like someone who's in a good position, an exalted position, coming down and blessing someone to balance out a relationship. But look, we also got so Mars, right? So we got Jupiter in a supporting aspect with the North Node of Destiny. But we also got this squaring of from Mars to this. So Jupiter's trying to do the destiny stuff, but they got this relationship over here that's out of balance and causing tension, right? And so, like I said, you got the exalted Jupiter in Cancer and Mars in detriment in Libra. And you look and think about it. You got a planet that's exalted, and you got a planet that's in detriment. And a square is tension, right? So this is not a fair fight because Jupiter holds the superior. What does that mean? That's equivalent to bringing a knife to a gunfight. Yeah, so Jupiter exalted in Cancer would be sitting there with the gun, and Mars is sitting there with a knife. Actually, if you look at Mars's glyph, it's a circle with a point. So it makes sense that Mars would bring a knife to a fight. All right. So when you add Jupiter exalted in the Cancer, that's a water sign, right? So which is adding themes of nurturing, faith, compassion. It's protective energy. And we were talking about expansion. Protective, expansive overrides Mars decision or reactive tendencies in Libra. Hmm. Where Mars might try to force fairness and compromise, or have that, you know, people that like that passive aggressive. Jupiter brings the higher ground, acting from wisdom. Jupiter's about wisdom. It's the wise old teacher. So emotional strength and generosity. The square always creates tension, but like I said, Jupiter being exalted um, sets the tone of this interaction. So when it comes to this thing, it's about, when it comes to a relationship, or choose growth over conflict, wisdom over impulse, compassion over competition, compassion over competition. And then also keep in mind, all of that is working with the trine to the north node, and the trine to north node, the trine to the north node. All right, dog, you be good, bro. The trine, the trine to the north node blends emotional growth and soul level direction. Right, a faded moment of spiritual opportunity when nurturing. Mm. So this is the energy of having faith that someone gonna come. This is the energy of something coming through to bail somebody out of a touch situation. And like I said, 18, we talked about 18 the other day. 18 breaks down to nine, and nine is about culmination and karmic cycles. Karmic cycles. The wisdom gained through things coming to an end. Mm. And then I was also saying that the moon is an aspect to, the moon is in aspect with Pluto, and Pluto, Uranus, retrograding Pluto. And what is retrograding about? Reflect, review, rewind, reminisce. So on a collective level, this could point to a deep emotional purge or awakening in the collective. a deep emotional purge. You know what that's a representative of? That deep emotional purge. All of those Epstein victims yesterday getting up in front and saying all that in front of the press. That's this energy. That was a deep emotional purge. And they did it in a collective, trying to awaken everybody to the trials and tribulations in which they was put through. And they were speaking to the emotions in which was triggered. Like I said, emotions, and why emotions? Because I said the moon is conjunct retrograding Pluto, and the moon is about, like I say, emotions, the body's needs, the body's feelings, and this is one that people. The moon and emotions and water is memory, deep memory. Deep memory, right? And you fuse it with a retrograding Pluto, what you get in this transformation of power and emotional excavation, going down and digging out and rooting out some deep-seated emotions and shit, hidden emotions, right? Because this is at the first degree, early degrees of Aquarius. It's about a rebirth. Get initiated. Getting early degrees is about initiating. So this is getting a rebirth. But to get the rebirth, you got to go out and dig down and eradicate some of those emotional, hidden emotions that, in a moment of frustration, they don't rise up without knowing, i.e., in a form of road rage or something like that, right? But it's about going down there, digging out, rooting them emotions, and you got to be honest with yourself, right? Because it's all about integrating and learning from said emotions. Integrating said emotions and learning from, extracting the wisdom from said emotions that's buried down there. Then I also said that the moon will be this moon Pluto aspect at 1 degrees is also aspecting in a sextile Neptune and Aries at 1 degrees, right? Neptune by itself is mystical. It's dreams and illusions and fogginess, inspiration, right? And so this emotional purge has something to do with your intuitive nature or lack thereof. It has something to do with your the inspiration that your emotions need to get things started. What emotions do you need to purge? What is hidden deep down that is preventing you from being Miss MC Hammer and let's get it started? I'm showing my age for If any of y'all are not MC Hammer fans, I just referenced one of his songs. Let's get it started. Neptune and Aries. Neptune and Aries. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. And so this Neptune and Aries is about new beginnings, a pioneering spirit in faith. Do you have faith? Do you have faith that the universe has your back? Neptune and Aries is also about having courage to dream, and not only to dream, but to go after said dream. This is also good energy to intuitively create or intuitively create. I'll go with that. You got to dream to be able to create. A lot of dreams come out of, a lot of creative come out of people dreaming up ideas. Then I also told you that this old moon Pluto, the whole moon Pluto aspect will be trying Uranus and Gemini at 1 degree. Why will it be trying? Why will it be trying? Because Moon and Pluto in Aquarius, Uranus and Gemini, that's air to air. Trine is element, same element, same element. So air to air. Trine. So with this Moon Pluto aspect trying to Uranus, sudden flashes of insight. Because Uranus is all of a sudden. Lightning strikes. Also looking at breakthroughs. Gemini is communication. So breakthroughs but Gemini is ruled by Mercury too, and that's the mind. So breakthrough insights, revelations, because Uranus is liberation. So someone could be some information that could information could be said or communicated that leads to breakthrough and liberation. What does that mean? It could be, hey, somebody finally admitting, I'm done with this relationship. I don't want to be in it anymore, right? That is a breakthrough. All right, we getting to this point. I'm revealing something. I'm revealing emotions, how I truly feel. Pluto, deep down inside. And I've been holding this insight, these thoughts from you. But we've been having tension, Mars and Libra and detriment in the relationship that has led to unbalances. You are in a better position than I can to leave, to liberate or free Jupiter, Cancer, home, family, right? So why don't we make the decision to move through this breakthrough? Why don't we make the decision to, hey, by the way, okay, so if somebody finally admits, hey, I don't want to be, that could lead to the breakthrough or the impasse. Thank you, Londa. How are you? That could also lead back to the lead to breakthroughs with inside the relationships and bring balance back. Sometimes bringing balance to a relationship could be actually cutting it off. Mars likes to cut and sever. So sometimes, the best way to bring balance to a relationship is cutting it off. How can you bring balance? Say you're trying to balance a relationship, but the other person isn't. Will you be able to bring balance to that relationship? No, because you need two people to working on the same to balance it. And if I'm the only one trying to balance and you not, it ain't gonna work. It ain't happening, Captain. Right? So this moon Uranus, right? In dialogue with the moon in Aquarius, which is talking about collective psyche, in dialogue with Uranus and Gemini, we can see new narratives being told, unexpected emotional truths coming to light. It's about fresh ways of learning to speak your truth. Right? It's also a time of emotional innovation. Is it time? You know how how you've been emotionally responding to the world? Is it time to break free from those old stories, those old emotional responses, you know? Start being more open to new ways of thinking and new ways of responding to the world. That's what the moon, Pluto trine to Uranus and Gemini is actually about. So I told you about Jupiter. I told you about Jupiter in the North Node at 18 degrees, trining each other, and water. That's water to water. So we actually got two trines going on together. We got two trines. Yeah, we got two trines, a sextile, and a square. So in all actuality, there is supporting energy out there through these tense relationship dynamics that you may find yourself in. There is support. Now, here's the question. I'm sitting up here saying, energy wise, it says there's support out there. Next question is, are you looking for it? Are you looking for the support? Then the next question after that is, if the support was right in front of your face, would you be able to recognize it? Would you recognize real support if it's standing right in front of your face? Or would you look past it because that's not what you used to seeing when it comes to support? As in love language. What if what if all your life you had a toxic, all you seen was toxic love? Now you got real love sitting in front of your face. Will that person who's only used to seeing toxic love be able to truly recognize real love when it's sitting in front of their face? It would be hard for that person to see it unless they done did some work, backed out of, their matrix, became the observer and looked at things, thank y'all for the likes and the things. All right. So Jupiter, just to reiterate, Jupiter in the North Node, 18 degrees, water trine. Water is about emotions. So Pisces to Cancer, karmic spiritual opening toward compassion and emotional expansion. Emotional expansion. By the way, back to the moon. Jupiter is in Cancer. Cancer is ruled by the moon. So the moon got a whole bunch of shit to say about what going on with Jupiter right now. Jupiter got to converse with the moon to be able to really do anything right now. Think about it. If somebody's in your house, can they just do anything they want, or do they have to ask your permission to do something? Hey man, do you mind if I go to the restroom? Hey man, do you mind if I get something out the refrigerator, something to drink? Hey man, do you mind if I sit right here? That is a planet sitting in the rulership of another. Then, hell, if you add the bounds, so like I say, Jupiter sitting in Mercury's bounds. So how does that work? It works like this. Jupiter turns to Mercury and say, hey, Mercury, am I allowed to do something? And Mercury says to Jupiter, I don't know, let me check with the moon. Hey, moon, is it cool for me to allow Jupiter to do such and such? Let me think about it. All right, yeah, you could allow, but Jupiter's only can do it through if it's emotionally connected to their true thoughts. Moon, emotions, Mercury, thoughts, mind. So Jupiter got to say, oh man, I want to expand and all that, but you making me do it on the emotional level and think about it. I don't want, man, come on. So, and then you put the North Node. Hey, Jupiter, you allowed to expand and go towards your dreams and all of that, but is this what you truly want? Is this what deep down emotionally you feeling like you really want? Then you add the square. Again, Mars, I told you Mars and Jupiter are square. It's a challenging challenge. It's challenge. And Mars is about action. Jupiter's about wisdom. Action and wisdom. Wisdom and action. Which one do you like better? Action and wisdom or wisdom and action? I kind of like wisdom and action. That is you taking more of a smarter approach to your actions and the things you are partaking with. All right. I also told y'all that all of this was all at early degrees, 1 degree. All of this is going on at 1 degree. Pluto's at 1 degree. Neptune's at 1 degree. Uranus is at 1 degree. Right? Emotional shifts is about purging old patterns. What's up, Alive? How you doing? It's about purging old patterns. Opening yourself up to new spiritual visions. Embracing some innovative truths. So if y'all caught the horoscope today, that's why I said what I said. I have Mars conjunct Jupiter in Libra, 11th house. What state you in? I'm in Mississippi. So you have Mars conjunct Jupiter. So in all actuality, this is getting activated for you in a way. Because you also having a Mars return, because Mars is in Libra right now. And you have your Jupiter in Cancer square your natal Jupiter. So about 9 years ago, you're about 9 years into a 12-year journey. Well, you started the 10th year with Jupiter, and you're in the middle of the 10th. No, 9. If you think somewhere around 2013, 2014, that's when this cycle got started, right? And so you're at the waning square of that Jupiter cycle. You know, all planets got like a cycle because they always go around. So you have a Jupiter full moon with your Jupiter and all that. And so now you don't move to the square of this with the Jupiter traveling through Cancer. And what's your rising sign? And so if because most people know their chart in Placidus, but I use whole sign. So if you say your Libra is an 11, but that could be Placidus. If you're a Cancer rising, a Capricorn rising, that put that Libra in the 10th. I have a website. I am Astrology. Same name as this. I am astrologyreadings.com. You go to the booking section and stuff like that. And those are done privately on Zoom. I send you a copy of your chart of what I'm looking at. I also send you a recording of the reading after we finish and stuff like that, because I'd rather you sit there and have this conversation with me than sit there and try to take notes and shit like that. That means you're engaged and you're paying attention, right? Because I know people like to they start sitting up there trying to remember all the shit and no, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about trying to remember that shit. I want you to remember aspects and things of your life, not writing this shit down. So I record it and I send it to you. Yeah. 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 How old are you? How old? What's your rising sign? What's your rising sign? You know your rising sign? What's your rising sign and your age? Rising, is Scorpio rising? Mm. So that puts ooh. Mm. What's your sun sign? Sun sign 15 degrees, Scorpio. So you're a day birth. Your sun's above your ascendant. So you're a day birth. And that Libra, which you be in a Scorpio rising, that Libra, for me, that Libra's in your 12th house, not the 11th. But what you could do with that though is Placidus is in your 11th. And so um yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I'm saying Placidus, her Mars and her Jupiter is in the 11th, but whole sign is in your 12th, the 12th house. Now, yeah. And with the sun being 15 degrees and the ascendant being 27, that means the sun came up before your day birth. The sun is above the ascendant. That's some good things. But there's also some not so good things. All right. So if just is using Placidus and whole sign, right? I just tell you this: being a Scorpio rising, that means Mars, Mars is driving you. Let's just say you are Mars. You're Mars in your chart. You Mars. All the rest of the planets is everybody else. And where your Mars is in the 12th, that is called aversion. Your Mars is in aversion to the ascendant. What is aversion? It means blind spot. Now, what's the 12th house? The 12th house is about confined spaces, prisons, hospitals, jails, self-undoing, mental health in a way, and also spirituality and stuff like that. Unconscious, you know. So, and then you put it your chart ruler in a blind spot. in the 12th house, within the 12th house, right? And you're a day birth, which means that Mars belongs to the opposite sect, SECT. So I got a chart ruler, Mars, which is a malefic. A malefic is a planet that there's two malefics, Saturn and Mars. And neither one of them are trying to do things. So for you, being a day birth, Saturn is more productive than Mars. Mars is actually your enemy. Now think about it. If Mars is your enemy in your chart and Mars is a representation of you, and then I put it in a blind spot in the 12th house of relationships. What does that say to me? It says to me, some of the self-undoing in relationships actually has something to do with your actions, your personal actions. Put it next to Mars, blow up Jupiter, blowing stuff up. It could be that could be example of making a mountain out of a molehill. Now, where does this show up at? You said you used to looking at your chart in Placidus. So you told me all of this is in the 11th house, which tells me all of this energy and this unbalanced relationships and stuff shows up when you're around friends and in group settings and all of that stuff. So when it comes to groups, friends, settings, and all of that, at times you could be yourself undoing because you blow things out of proportion. Well, I'm just talking about the two planets that you right. So with that being said, that puts Jupiter, that makes Jupiter this Cancer energy, that puts that Cancer energy in your 8th house. Wait, 9th house. So this stuff that I was just talking about has something to do with your beliefs. Your beliefs on family or beliefs that you was handed down from your family about relationships. Maybe fighting in relationships or hostility in relationships that, thought you said Scorpio rising. Thought you said Scorpio rising. Who's the Virgo rising? Oh. Um, you left with it. So are you still with that traveling preacher, or is that the relationship that's unbalanced and all of that stuff that this energy is talking about? There's tension in that relationship. Yeah, and this moon and this Scorpio, the Scorpio stuff is going to be going on with you being, if you're a Scorpio rising. This is going on in your 4th house of home, family, and roots. So the emotions connected to your home, family, and roots. And then Gemini, Uranus is going to be in your 8th house of deep bonded relationships, shared assets. And then the Neptune is going to be in your 6th house of daily routine and health. So shared assets, what you do on a daily basis, is it healthy or unhealthy? And then emotions, transformation emotions connected to places in which you live. Groups that you connected to, friends and groups, and self-undoing, blowing emotions, blowing, making mountains out of molehills. That's just the general outline. That's just the general outline, but within side of that, I know there are more details, right? But that's just the planetary outline in which I just broke down. I'm pretty sure you might be able to see within that outline the energy expression. Well, Pluto, Pluto moon. That's what I was talking about. Emotional purging, purging of emotions, right? A marriage is a deep bonded relationship where you shared assets. What happened when y'all broke up? Did you get some of the assets, or was it done unfairly? Does the breaking up of the assets have something to do with your current situation? What about 18 years? What about it? What did 18 years do? I think I made, well, divine. 18 years of marriage. Oh, yeah. Uh, So yeah. Yeah. I did put up with some bad behavior that did shut me down. So you said earlier, not used to something bad slowly. Now this is collective, not personal. Yeah, this is a collective shift, you know. And then you think about what your midheaven being Virgo, and the south node is in Virgo. Um, let's just say how people are used to seeing you publicly. Now it's time to walk away from some of that stuff. Big endings, big beginnings when it comes to your public face. So, but yeah, I just really wanted to, like I said, I put out that horoscope today, the little horoscope video. Uh, I just wanted to come on here and explain it a little bit deeper, go into some of the aspects a little bit deeper. Sometimes people need a little further explanation. Mhm. Then, if anybody had a question or whatever, I was trying to, did put up. Man, it's almost time for me to go to lunch and all that. Like I said, I thank y'all for rocking with me and all. Anybody, before I go, anybody got any last questions? All right, thank you. And thank you for watching the videos. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate the comments that you leave on there. Matter of fact, that's what I was just doing, responding to a couple of them. You know, I'll be trying to get to all that stuff. But I'm just a one-man operation over here. You know, from making the videos to the writing to the editing of the videos to the music to all that stuff. I'm just one man to the posting, all that shit. It's only me and two dogs. So everything you see, yeah, I'm a one man band operation over here. So yeah, I thank y'all for rocking with me. Yeah. And if y'all want to read or anything, feel free to reach out to me on the website, book a reading and all that. All right. Know thyself, balance your energy.